Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at how I color grade underwater footage, and we're also going to be talking a little bit about what to do with the footage while we shoot it to make it as well prepared for editing as it possibly can be. So here we are in Adobe Premiere, which is the software that we're going to be using for color grading this footage. And we're here in the Assembly tab. The first thing we're going to do is click over to the Color tab. And your Color tab should look something like this. There should be a Scopes menu over here, and there should be a Lumetri Color panel over here. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just switch this panel around because actually I have a slightly different preference for how I like to keep this. I like to put my Scopes over on here, and I like to put my Lumetri Color over here. And the reason for that is that I can kind of squeeze the Scopes in here a bit, and I can just get more screen real estate for the monitor that will be watching the footage. So first off, I should explain what these scopes are, or your scopes might look slightly different. If you click down here in the settings button, we have 5 different scopes that we can choose from. We got 2 vector scopes, a histogram, the parade, and the waveforms. So what we want to do is switch it to the parades. So regardless of which one you're at, you probably need to, let's say if I wanted to switch to histogram now, I would click once and both of them would come up. And I would then have to turn parade off to get histogram up. But what we're going to do it the opposite way. We're going to turn parade on and turn histogram off. Now, before we get started, I'm just going to, I think I'll talk about each individual clip as we go through them. I've prepared a few selected clips down here that we're going to go through and do some color grade on. So without further ado, let's just get started here with this first shot. This is a shot of a whale shark that I shot back in May at Southwest Pinnacle on Koh Tao. And so this is straight out of camera, completely ungraded. This has been manually white balanced. It has a red filter on it, on the camera, a Kelvin Spectrum SF2. And it also, this is completely ambient light. If you're not sure on how to white balance your camera, I've done a video on that in the past, and I'll add a link to that video in the description below. So make sure you check that out, because a big clue to color grading footage is to get it as good as you can when you actually shoot it. All right, so to color grade this footage, we're going to have a look through here. And what we're going to do is look for a frame that kind of has a bit of everything in it. So maybe this one. So we have the whale shark, quite clean cut out here. We got these divers, and we got the ridge coming up here. And then we're going to go over to our Lumetri Color panel. And if you have done photo editing before, either in a phone app or on something like Lightroom, this might not look too unfamiliar to you. When we open the basic corrections, we got this white balance, we got exposure, contrast, highlights and shadows, whites and blacks, etc. And so we got a few of these different ones. Now, we're going to skip the basic corrections for now, and we're going to start off in curves. So curves is this really nice tool for video editing that I've kind of fallen in love with. And the color grading tip that I'm going to show you first is just literally how to make quick color and contrast changes to your footage that really doesn't take very long. So to start off, we're going to have a look over here in the scopes, and you can see that we have these red, green, and blue lines here, and they all run between 255 and 0. We're not going to get too technical in this video, but basically what this tells us is that actually all of the information in this footage is not overexposed, because if it was overexposed, it will go above the top line, and it's also not underexposed, because then it will be below the bottom line. But what we're going to do is we're going to grab the top bit here, which corresponds to the top bit in your scopes, and let's have a look over here at the scopes and see what happens when I start dragging this around. So if I'm dragging this up to the left, you see that the scopes go up. And if I'm dragging it down, it goes down. And you can also see how that affects the footage that we have in front of us here. So what I want to do is, it's actually situated pretty good. I'm just going to lift it slightly up. And what we're essentially doing here is we're just stretching out the footage to get more dynamic range into our shot. And we're going to do the same at the bottom here. This will correspond to the bottom part of this. And we're going to, you see, when we drag this, I actually like to put all the way down at the line. So pretty much like there. All right. Now, if we turn this off and on, you see just the minor changes that we've done so far. Added a little bit of contrast, especially to the ridge here. And then we're going to add more contrast. Now, the way you can do this, there's a few different ways. Let me just show you one way on this clip. This is my favorite way because this is kind of how I like my footage to look, which is that by clicking here, I'll add a little node and I can drag this up or down and you can see how that affects our footage. Now you can also see if we're looking at the scopes as I'm doing this, if I'm dragging this up, I'm not actually overexposing the image. So I'm keeping it because we've set this node up here. So I can drag this up and down without over or underexposing the image. I'm kind of just controlling the midtones because we are dragging towards the mid of the image. So what I actually like to do personally is just bring this depends on the shot, but bring this slightly down. And then we'll do another one up here and we'll probably push this up so we can push the highlights a bit up. Say there. And then we can do another one down here. And we can get quite accurate with the shadows. Right, so let's turn this off and on. So we've already done quite a bit of changes to this image. Now, last thing that you can do, and this depends on your camera, but I shoot on the Panasonic GH5, and my experience is that Panasonic, even when you white balance correctly, it adds a little bit too much green. So when we're in this white part of the menu here, you can see that we're controlling all the different colors, the red, green, and the blue. But we can go over to the green one here, and we can just drag this down slightly. And you can see what happens is that the both the blues and the reds gets a little bit better looking. I like that. I like that better. Okay. So this is before and this is after. Before and after. So that's already quite a nice improvement to the shot. And this really doesn't take very long, but it's a fairly accurate way of color grading. On land, if you ever want to use this method on land, it's actually very easy because on land you pretty much just want to level these out. You want these to be at the same level, and that's how you know you have a good white balance. But it doesn't work like that on the water, unfortunately. All right, next clip. Here we got this clip I shot at Rock a couple of years ago, and it's just this cool little shot of this pink anemone fish with this school of fish behind it. And I kind of just like the interaction. I like the currents. So again, we're going to find like a nice clip that we want to be editing on. A nice little frame here. Now you can see on this clip that we have some of the information here going all the way up to the line. And that's probably some of the white reflection of some of these fish. So we can see what happens. Like if we drag this down slightly to here, and you see we have quite a lot of space down here at the bottom. So we'll drag this down as well. And if we turn this off and on, you can see what we've done here. And then what we can do again, so I'll show you a slightly different way of adding contrast. And I don't necessarily recommend doing it this way, but you can create kind of an S-curve, which is similar to what we did on the last grade. So we can add an S-curve, something like this. And again, I do want to go in here and I want to remove some of that green. And that's before and that's after. Before, after. So you can see we have way more contrast in the shot. And this is completely up to you how much contrast you like. You don't have to, you could have less of it and it could still look really, really nice. But it's completely up to you. All right, that's pretty good looking. Let's do another one. Now this one's quite heavy on the greens. This is a shot I did at Rock a few years back. And I think my white balance is slightly off. It's way too green. Not a lot of blue in here. So let's see what we can do with this little shot quickly. We'll just do some minor corrections here. Probably going to pull a lot of green out of this shot. We'll just do that first. And when I'm pulling this out, I'm actually looking at the corals down here because I know roughly which color they should have at this depth. So something like this roughly, and we'll create a bit of contrast. And this isn't a shot that's going to look perfect by any means because it's captured a little bit too deep, and it should maybe be shot with lights or at least with a red filter on. But this is before and after, and I think you can see it's quite a difference. All right, now, what if we wanted to do more corrections on a shot like this? So we kind of skipped the basic corrections here. But the basic corrections has this white balance tool, and it also has a white balance selector. Now the selector, it's really hit and miss how well it works on the water. But what it basically does is if we click on this and then we find something that we know is white on the water. Oops, that was not the way. For example, this foreground element here that looks fairly white to me. So if we were to click on that, you can kind of see what the software has done. It's added a bunch of orange and pink to the image, but it's very much overdone it. But we can dial these down a bit ourselves. Maybe to like there. So if we turn this now off and on, you can see that that's done. It's a little bit too much for my taste. That's not too bad. So this has just helped us add even a little bit more of natural color to this foreground here. And so let's see. If we go to the effect controls, we have the entire thing here. We can click it off. That's before, after, before, and after. All right, let's move on. This clip is interesting. So this is a clip that I shot recently on a wreck down in south of Phuket. It's just this nice little shot of these fish in the opening here. So what I want to show you here, we're going to take it one step further. We're going to do all the stuff that we've already done. Right about there. Now, what I don't like about this shot is the hue of the yellow here, because I know what it's supposed to look like and it's not quite there. So actually, if we go down on the curve section here, we get all these different graphs here. One is called hue versus saturation, hue versus hue, hue versus luma. And there's a bunch of other ones too, but basically those top three are the ones that I use the most. So what they allow you to do is change specific colors. And in the same way that the white balance tool has this picker, they also have that here. So we can choose this and we can try to get a good reading off of one of the yellow colors here. So maybe like right there. And you see that created 3 little keyframes here. Now basically what these do is that this one sets the outer limits, this one sets the outer limit, and this is what you adjust it with. So if I start holding, oh sorry, we are at the wrong, I was supposed to do hue versus hue, my bad. Hue versus hue, okay. And now that we're dragging this up and down, you can see how much the color is changing on these fish. So what we probably want is something more like there. That looks better to me. And then we can also go in and do the saturation here. Slightly saturate that. And that looks much better to me. So that's before and after, before and after. Okay, so let's move on to something very different, which is shooting with log underwater. Now, again, long story short, log is just a way of getting more dynamic range out of your camera, especially in the shadows and in the highlights. So as you can see, this shot looks really washed out. This is a blue-ringed octopus that I've shot here on Koh Tao. Yes, we have blue-ringed octopus. It's really, really cool. And the reason why I choose to shoot macro subjects in log is because you're kind of aiming the camera down towards the sand here, and it's good to have as much dynamic range as possible. And usually if you shoot with a log format and you're shooting towards a blue background, you tend to get banding, which is not ideal. So personally, I only use log if I'm shooting macro subjects in the muck, but you can try and experiment with. I know some people that shoot log more on normal shots too. But anyway, when you're correcting log footage, you can see that all the footage is very squished here in the middle. Technically, it should be a little bit higher. I'm a little bit underexposed, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the same method. Obviously, now we are pushing it much, much more. But you can see straight away when we do this, it's starting to look more like a normal shot. You can take some green out. It's not too bad here. It's slight, very slight. And then we can add some contrast here. Something like that. Now, the colors of this looks pretty good to me, but again, if you wanted to add saturation to the blue colors here, for example, you go in here and you get a reading and you can saturate this or desaturate it. If you wanted to change it, you can use the hue versus hue. Or if you want to change the brightness of something, you can use hue versus luma, which luma stands for luminance. So we could select that same blue and we could brighten them up or darken them. This shot doesn't really need it, but that's how you would go about doing that. All right, so that's before and after on this beauty. A couple of clips left. Now this is the last two clips are pretty cool. So this is an absolute beauty of a nudibranch. I think these guys are so tiny. They're a few millimeters long, if that. And this is something that we discovered kind of just a few months ago, really, here on Koh Tao. Beautiful little nudibranchs. Now this is shot with the Dive Pro MP30, which is a snoot light. So you can see that this is very concentrated around the subject. The background isn't given too much attention here. But these are just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So that's before and after. This is also shot in log. And then finally, I'm going to show you just this little clip, which is again same light, shot in log, the snoot light that I'm talking about. And this is just a cool little shot of this mantis shrimp coming in and out of its home here. And what we can do with this shot is that we can get rid of the background. So this is quite a popular shooting technique where you just blacken out the background, and it may not be just the right setting to do it natively in the shot, but you can do it in post like this. So that's how I do a lot of quite simple color correction in Premiere Pro using the Lumetri Color panel. And it's a very effective and quick way of just making shots look way, way, way better. So I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.